everybody. My name is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here taking a look at Lee Min Hyuk's track entitled Boom. Yes, I know his stage name is not his name he goes off of for B2B, but I'm very excited for this. I have a feeling we're not going to be having a lot of clothing on just based on the thumbnail. So this is going to be really interesting. This is also a Patreon request. Shout out to Kalish for the request. I'm excited. I hope you are. Let's go. Well, isn't that fun? Really fun way to create a chair. Thrill and mellow. He has a lot more clothes on than I was expecting. Nice. Just kidding. Oh, cool. Okay. So we made it 3/4 of the way, having more clothes on than not, and then the bridge happened. Okay. Oh, that was funny. That was really funny. That may end up being the thumbnail. That was real. Oh. I like the setup of how he's on a throne on people. That was really cool. I wonder if y'all can hear the playback, but that's fine. Nice. It does feel like a lot of our movement is we're filling up our space. A lot more than the average sequences I'm used to seeing. I don't mind it. It's interesting. I'm excited to talk about it. Sure, double bounce. Yeah, the structure is on the simpler side. Simple doesn't inherently mean easy, but it is easy to digest what's going on in our formations, our transitions. We end up repeating, so it's easier to resonate in our head as well. It's a subtle earworm, I'm telling you. And when I say earworm, I mean that it's something that's just kind of hangs out. Can't get rid of it. It's just kind of there. You know what I mean? I hope none of you have earworms. That would be bad. But anyway. Wrist rotations are fine. Cool. I like that he's in just regular clothes and everyone else is in the all black. That's a communicated rehearsal schedule. I like the points. That was fun. Boom, boom, boom. Body roll. Like the little hinge on that, brush on that. He does have some stiffness going on in the torso. Obvious reasons can include when you sing a track like this, that's the first thing to go away. It's going to be that. He also has a hybrid of this nobleman vibe that we've seen in some of the imagery in the music video. Heavy, heavy hybrid though. So a part of that can help commit to his posture choices, which is smart. Oh. Boom shakalaka. Nice. I like that he's with the ladies on the second one. Nice. Side note, you see the girl with the double braids? I wish I pulled that hair before. I just never thought to try it. Nice. Slides are nice. Push through. I like the walks on that. Good range on our dancers. We have half of them face front, half face the back. That looks nice. Little dolphin moment. Okay, okay. Gaza! I like the every other on that. Yeah. Boom, shakalaka. Hey, yeah. Yeah! Boom, shakalaka. Nice ball change out of that. Looks really nice. And we hit and hit. Come on. I like the ending. Nice subtlety in the head. Yeah. See, do you see the thumbnail? That's what I was expecting, was more of that. And I'm kind of, I mean, I can be a bit shy when I see that a lot, you know, but anyway, he did a pretty decent job. Like, I would say the structure of it's pretty nice. I don't mind it. It's easy for us to enjoy and appreciate on the track, things like that. It's very fitting. It looks good. Here we go. So what's really fun too is I don't have to turn it down because I really couldn't get it any louder than what we have it. So I found that to be funny. But okay, so I like how they go. They started off in a column and then they took their arm and they swung it to the respective outside. I like how he came up. I'm actually very curious. Let's logistically think about that. It's over here. So it looks like, okay. So what ended up happening is you have two of your dancers in the back. They're squatted, not really squat, but they're hinged over. He's laying down on their back. So what happens is his legs are already in the position that they're in. My guy right there he's sitting on, he doesn't move. It's all in the upper body. And he ends up coming up as soon as the ladies go out to create a fun reveal from our tripod shot. But the guys come up to allow this hinge effect to make it look like his entire chair is coming up, but it's really just his upper body. But it still looks very, very cool. I like from there, he keeps the momentum going, super slow, but very intentional, where he goes and he lifts it up, and I like different angles being represented. It showcases some fullness. It does give a fun chair-like fixture perspective. I like the stylized hands from the ladies with their posture and positioning. It's really nice to see that. He takes it, and I like that he's just hanging out, living it up. We're here. It gives an unhinged king perspective, right? It's cool. And so they take it, really good job on the dancers to keep in range with each other. Range meaning how they're getting from their A to their B on their hinges, because most of them are not touching each other. And it's really hard to get that effect from somebody that's on literally all fours with weight on his back, and somebody who is literally having a human sit on their back to those that have no weight resistance of any kind. So that's a really well rehearsed section. On top of, I've mentioned this before, having your dancers face the back. They can't technically check it that often. facing the front whenever they rehearse this in front of a mirror. There is no mirror a lot of times whenever they go to run it. So that's really, really impressive, that whole perspective. That's cool. Anyway, so I like from there, we have a little stylized hand on the hip with our ladies as they do a crawl. He throws, he hops down. He's like, all right, here we go. I was expecting him to sing or to spit his bars live because my B2B experience in the dance practice spaces have called for that, but it doesn't bother me at all. I find that to be fun. All this right here. So you have your guys, basket runaway. I didn't catch it in the initial review, but I knocked it off right here. We saw it. That'll be my note there. But they did their job. They got out of frame quickly, so that's fine. So I like how we took it and brushed across their face on that first one. We slide out. I like the elbows to help knock the dancers with their head. That was a fun accent point. And then we go, gah. And I like that we take our head and we swivel it over to the side, which is really nice to go bass, bass, bass. They use that with the elbows to help travel the energy over towards that right side of theirs. Then they end up re-rotating or swiveling towards the front again. Looks really nice here. We do a little trace down the torso as one does. And we're here, we hear a whoo, which was nice. We like that. Boom, boom, da-doom. And I like that we double up on those basses going on with the guys. It's really fun. And we go pa, pa, pa with the chest. And he ends up doing it with the hips. You know why? Because he can. So all the other dancers are choosing to go hips on that. And because he has his eyes covered, it is easier for us to clock his hips when he does choose to do a pelvic thrust with an accent like that. So I think that was a smart move for him if he wanted to have a little sex appeal, which I think there's like an underlying tone set in that without having to take his clothes off until about 3/4 of the way, right? So anyway, so I like how they all go from the outside to the inside and then they stick it down and then they stay down as they rotate it around. His stoic, noble posture and stance as he stays up, and then it goes da-da. He does a little hitchhiker, double up to the back. They all come up and respond in opposition to where he is. He has a little slide through with that leg, and I like the little prayer hands on that too. Looks nice. They drop down, rotate it around to the outsides. He says, come on, rotate through, and I like the connection going on with the arms on that. He says, da-da. He says, come on now. And we're all dropped, nice and low. They branch away, and then you have two from the outside, and you have your ladies coming in. So that was really nice. And then the ladies go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So they have their arm, the little trace around is fun. Nice fullness coming from my dancer with my double pigtails. Those are fun. And they dig through, and so they're letting their weight really press more towards that front as we swing those arms from side to side. Looks really nice. And then we do a little double up on this as we walk forward. That looks really fun. And then we do a little running, and then we have a little hip accent, not the same as the pelvic thrust pop that we saw, but more of just a rotation on a different plane. So that's fun. And then the girls take their arms up, nice little brush down to help promote their transition to switch their position. So they just call it just a mirror transition, right? Where they're just switching places, which is cool. And then it turns into an inverted, I call this honestly a trapezoid formation because it's short with the long, just like you would see a trapezoid. We're gonna draw it. Let's do it. Pew, 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 pew. Math. Okay, here we go. And so I like that Min Hyuk drops a little bit lower and he does a little clap. Now some of you may be like, Jessica, why aren't you calling him by his stage name as a soloist? I don't know if I say it right. If it's HUTA, HUTA, WHATA, I don't know. HUTA? But we're going to call him Min Hyuk because I know how to pronounce his Hangul name. Anyway, so sorry. Anyway, but the double clap is fun, so we take it back. Nice little nay-nay right there. They make it a little bit more fluid, which I find to be fun, more conversational. And I like how they use it to transition. But you notice it's pretty, whenever they're doing a move, they are entertaining that move longer than what I'm normally used to seeing in the newer generation side, where there's a lot more syncopation, more complexity, more polyrhythms and content, or through delegation. So the fact that we have our dancers with Min Hyuk dancing a lot of unison. I mean, there's some really nice levels, but notice the levels are happening not in a syncopation, not as interruptions per se, but they're happening not really predictably, but where it makes sense and it doesn't feel like my brain has to digest and comprehend what I'm watching. It just kind of knows what's going on, right? So that's where the familiarity of the structure kind of comes in, which is interesting. And sometimes it's just kind of nice to be able to watch a routine with that, right? So I like to bring it O and O, and I like the little hinge, a little rock forward. It's subtle, and then they end up rocking it back, which is nice. So I like how he knocks it. Fun little feature moment for him. They do a little sweep, and then they have an accent point going on with the chest there, which is really fun. They end up switching to their lines. I like the drop level and the accents with the arms out. That was really nice and clean there, so that was cool. And then we snake it over. We just have a little moment. We accent over, hit to the other side, and they say, come on now. Walk out of the way. Now we have 6 of our guys in. He rotates to the front. We have 2 columns ready to go. Then you have 2 of our guys stay as outliers, and then we have Min Hyuk move to the back, just slide to the back to create a nice V. So that was fun. Then we do a little head. We've already kind of entertained that, right? So we trace down the side of the chest, we travel it up, and then we goes eyes. So how he creates this illusion without it making it too much space between the hand and the head, it's just as simple. He's accenting, or he has an anchor point of the thumb as he makes it happen, so it actually drapes over the eye, versus seeing there's a higher chance that this thumb is going to come up and stick out more so than making it actually something that drapes over the head. So that was a cool choice, nice and subtle. So if you're curious how he did it, you just tap the thumb on the head. But now, instead of having 2 outliers, everybody's now joined the V. We're here for this. We step, boom, and then we have a nice little extra just heaviness on that right side, boom, and then we do a nice little head on the tail end of that. We go move on, then we go into a rotation, we go into a circle, and he's in the front. Nope, just use English and use better verbiage. Okay, they are all in a circle. It's like parentheses, but you enclose it, and then you have Min Hyuk in center. He's facing us. Everybody else is facing their body, at least towards Min Hyuk, right? Whether it's through the corner, from the side, but everybody's accenting, I think, from their inside leg. So that would be my guys over on the stage right side using their right leg, it looks like, and then my other group on the left. So he is clocking more towards their front, giving us eye contact, no one else is, so it's easier for us to clock our feature, which is cool. And then he does a little feeling. He goes up to the neck. What a tease, boy. And then we trace it through again, and we go eyes, just like we did the first time, head roll. Now, because we have this drive that's built into the track, there's more sounds coming into play, more tonal colors, more percussion. So we should have something that allows the movement to show that as well. Sometimes, a lot of times, choreographers will create more density of their content, meaning that they're going to add more and more information. So it's like, okay, there's more for me to process, more for me to work through. That means we're getting to a bigger place because there's more in the music to entertain. Also, it can be creating add-ons. Your dynamics are going to intensify, your projection or your performance is going to be more full. There's so many different ways you can navigate. That's just the tip of the iceberg in how you can choreographically enhance a pre-chorus from the verse whenever you have it set up this way. So whenever they hit through, I like the press through. The presentation out is nice. Boom, boom. If I were to, this right here reminds me of what is it? I need you, girl. Wet. It's such a wet fun moment for me. Was it BTS's track? But I like that moment. It's nice and slow. It's filling. It matches well with the track here. Dana komata. Fun. And then they bring it. I like the mwah, the kiss over to the slide. And then it goes you. We have a little gun. Wow. You know, which is fun. And then we take it, we accent it down, boom shakalaka, and then we have our weight more so on that left leg to create a just switch up, or to, what is it? We take and we twist the ball of the foot to help make that nice and rigid on the leg. So we travel it up, so it creates some dynamic differences between the smooth elevation of the arm and the knee. Really fun. Shakalaka, we present it. I like how we recoil it there on the sound, and we just bleed it through. I actually really liked that in the music video. It was really fascinating. Then he brings it up, the step forward, boom, the shakalaka, and do we end up doing a head ISO out of that? Let's see. Boom. Yeah, they make it really full. Notice we saw subtleties of the head that were entertaining that kind of dynamic, but now this time it's a more full body experience. Then they have the arm, then boom, shakalaka. More fullness, no head ISO there. It did give the impression though, right? So then they end up sweeping that leg around, using it to do a little tone wop, twist, so slow if we're gonna entertain that. Then he goes, I'm ready, you ready? I like how he looks back, look at his boys. Hey, you ready? I'm ready. He says, oh, come on now. So we go and we take and we do a nice little point up, and then we do a trace across, which is nice. We rotate the wrist, and we end up going nice full the wrist, and like a blooming blossom, right? And then we enclose and we do it to the other side. I noticed it mostly with Min Hyuk. Some of my dancers, they end up I mean, they twinkle it in. They make it like a loose fist vibe in comparison to a full fist. So that's interesting. And then we do a little body roll. It does give me some bondage vibes. I mean, especially when it got to like what he was, that chainmail influenced kind of fit with no clothes. It really does feel like we were entertaining that kind of play. I'm so sorry if that feels a little bit too mature for what this was. He's a grown man, you know, so I feel like he's aware of certain contexts of movement tailored to some things that he was wearing could potentially give that impression. I don't know what this is about. Maybe it was about that. He's a bit cheesy in the lyrics too, so that's probably where I'm getting my context from, but I digress. Yeah. But anyway, it was clean. It was pretty clean for the most part. So I like how he does a subtle transition to get to the middle. Then they take it. I like the extra accent going the knee out in. And notice there's it's not quite super smooth in the upper body, but we're not letting our upper body be heavily influenced by the lower body as much as it could. It is having, you know, it's not moving until an accent takes place in the lower body in comparison to making it super smooth like we were seeing the boom shakalaka part. It feels very intentional because everyone's doing it, which is cool. And then they go one it, so that was syncopated on the words as we go and we travel, and then we exit out really nice and we hit it. I love the boom with the accent all day, baby. Let's go. And they do a little walk it out vibes on that with the throw, and we uncross out of it and we rotate through. He goes haha, right? He covers his eyes. Everybody else has this little iriwa vibe. Come here. Now, what's interesting is what's going on with the feet here, right? Yeah, turwa, right? And just the type of feet, I just find it to be very quick and frantic in a very adorable way. It doesn't feel, I don't know, like in your face. Does that make sense? It kind of feels the opposite, which I found to be so funny, and I never noticed it until just now. So that's funny. So they kick through. I like the little pickup out of that. We accent with the elbows. And so it did give the impression that my back row was to the inside. And then they use this phrase of choreo to get the formation expanded. But let's look. So they end up, okay, cool. So they end up using this extra pull to get them to get towards that outside of the front person. I like, there's your noble posture again, right? And they hit the accent through. There's your sweep. And I like the points out of that. We turn out of it and we go, we hear that sound. We do a little speed change to recognize the sound. And we go in. We have two dancers come in, lower level. Boom. I like that vibe. Did it give Crump like Go Buck vibes? Possibly. Am I gonna say that they were doing Crump? No, I don't think there was other context outside of that one moment for 2 counts to justify even entertaining the style, but it does give the impression that it has, we were looking for a masculine rawness there, which a lot of times you can affiliate to Crump. So I find that fun. I like the head on that. So we've seen that this little swivel quite a few times now in the choreo, right? It's totally fine. The package of it is fine. So he says, come on, let's go. And they pick up to the side. They go out, little hinges on this, which is fine. The little brushes on that too. More simple. And then we do a little spaghetti noodles to Meemaw up in the corner. And then we have a little party moment, dancers. Ooh, chicken wing basket run, my favorite. And then we go to the columns. And then we have our ladies in the back slide in on the second one, a little figure 8 of the head. And then we trace down, same thing as before, but why does it feel different? It can feel different for a number of reasons. Firstly, quantity. We have 4 dancers doing the choreo versus 6, including Min Hyuk. Min Hyuk is also not doing the choreography here. He's taking a more individualized walking approach. He's just very subtle, and the ladies are holding it down in movement. Thirdly, it's ladies doing it, and so how their movement quality is going to be promoting and projecting is going to feel different, and that is absolutely okay. And I say this quite often nowadays, especially whenever you have the same choreo, let's say the same structure of pre-course, but the difference is you have a different member singing or they're doing the phrase. Because their tone is different a lot of times, the movement can have some subtle differences as well, depending on who's where. So I find that to be more more interesting. Like, it never bothers me when we choose to recycle a phrase, unless it just feels lazy on the choreographer's part. When you look at a marathon of a group and you see them showcase so much beauty in the art of dance, but then all of a sudden we just revert to like this really, I don't know, really safe option. And I never blame the groups. I always kind of, I clock it to the choreographer on those choices, but I digress. My point being, this is why this feels a little different. Those could be like 3 out of 15 reasons why. It's because of the choices. I really love the tension pull on the sternum from one of our ladies as they were dropping down. So if you go back, watch. Miss Pigtails right here, watch. Just down. Look at that. She goes, boom. She establishes how low she wants to go with her head, and then she isolates it. Boom. And then she lets the rest of the body go through. That's a really cool visual. Really fun. And then we slide over, which is also nice. And then we do a little slide to the back, and then we revert back, trying to fight for center here. Then they go hit. Do they do a head iso there? Maybe. Let's see. Oh, so they just open the hands and they let the head have an accent with tension. They take that hand out nice and down and they drop it down. I like how we take it up nice and squatted, covering the eyes. Well, everyone's covering the eyes except for my stage left group. Interesting. It could be something as simple as when they're cleaning it in the mirror, they're taking the peripheral approach, right? It could also be whenever the choreography was done, maybe this is what it was, and then they just took a note out of his book, or maybe this is what the choreo was and this is how they processed it. There's so many different factors to it. One of my go-tos is there's a really good chance you can peripherally check your cleanliness to be a smarter dancer. This is something that you can do in the mirror as you look at the person next to you, out of reference, not out of reliability. There's a difference there, right? And you can make some subtle choices to help on the range, because notice they are in check together and these two are in check together. That could be a reason, I don't know, but anyway. So I like the knee accent to the inside was nice. They go and they travel it up and you have the eyes again. And then we let the head go, throw through, and then we allow the chest to go forward and we accent up one more time and they go boom, nice little reveal into a diagonal on you, and then boom shakalaka, and they hit it, boom, click, and he's the only one who goes out. Everyone else is nice and still. And he ends up going here, and then he throws it down. Everyone tosses it down. And then a boom shakalaka, nice in rotation of the wrists, and then they do the same lower body little tone wop twist. Not in light feet posture, but that twist of the heel could be something you do see in tone wops, right? So they bring it around. And then they pull and they allow that finger to go up. They trace it down to the side, so they still maintain tension here. But this motion, that didn't feel as seductive. This does feel a smidgen more like choreography than the first time we see it is. Could it be because we've already seen it and it just feels like, okay, we're kind of waiting for that bridge because we're already familiarized ourselves with the content because it is simple in structure? There's always that chance. But it could also be how he's doing it with the ladies. It could be a slew of reasons, right? So that's absolutely fine. They bring it through and then they have the leg with an accent. So they're rebounding off of the back leg in order to have this switch off happen right there with the front. And it goes one it. And it goes cross out, and then we take it through, and I like that everybody drops to the ground. He twinkles his finger in, and I like how he goes boom, and I like how we have a nice tension moment. We have 4 of our ladies, they're on their knees, the guys are on their bottoms, so that was fun, and they're nice and low. I like this combative kick that happened in the front. That was really fun. So it's cool that everybody's staying really low and making really fun, not risky choices, but definitely not your average choices as we move over, and I like from there, everybody ends up getting all tied together. They're facing the same direction. They're in the same starting position before we begin the unison choreo. I like those choices. It feels nice and clear. I'm ready to watch the unison. From here, I like they take it up, nice little accent, or they allow the hips to stay up nice and tall, and then they start the slow speed change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and bring it through, and then we have it nice facing the back. Good job on the ladies for facing front on that. Having to do that kind of rotation and then make it seamlessly cheat to the front, that's what we call it, is whenever your movement naturally wants to finish in a certain direction, but you have to finish in a different direction, and it's a bit, you kind of have to cut a corner, right? Cut corners to get there. We call that cheating. But so it's fun. But if presenting forward, I like the slow walks. I love the hips with some of our ladies on those choices. The guy swings are nice. Then they walk away. Part of me wishes we would have a walk on tempo. It has that kind of drive, and militant pursuit that I think we could have entertained. Look at the dolphin. I really like the fact that Mr. Stassi over here, he was really nice and complete on it, which is fun. And then he does his little moment. He has his knees spread and his body rolling. Ooh, boy. And he had him looking like, you could tie those bad boys. Anyway, so he goes down, up, and then he does a little boom with the bass drop out there. And they say, kata! We'll see. I wonder if it's going to cut off. Sometimes my computer doesn't like to complete the choreo videos, so I have to refresh it. But it seems fine. I like how he looks behind himself. He says, kata! And I like that they all do a subtle smile, drop down with the head. And then I really like the opposing levels here. It's a nice little surprise. And I like the swing and the swing. Then we bring it over. Punch to the front, head ISO, and then we switch it over, nice head tilt, hey, and we do a little hip switch, so we're placing our weight on each respective leg, and we're allowing the hips, I'm trying to think, so the leg that I'm stepping on, that's where my hip's gonna swing to allow that kind of shift in the tilt of the pelvis, so that's really fun, but it's different than a walk it out. It looks similar, but walk it out, I think the upper body has a different impression, as well as what your hips are doing too, but this one felt a little bit more, you're not pushing the hips more forward, you're kind of you're stacked a little different with your torso there, so that's fun. So they do some fun swings, they do some scissors out of that, which is nice. Scissors like the old school hip hop where you do you pick up the feet and you switch them, and it's not really a toe tap or a heel dig or anything like that, it's just your legs firmly planting as you switch them. Those are fun. You walk, want it, let's scream it out, let's go. We spread it out. I like the rotation on the punch, is fun, and we hit it over. Nice clarity on those hands. We switch it out, boom shakalaka, and bring it back, take it through, and then we have a little sudden speed change out of that. Looks really great. We kick ball change, and we turn out of it, we go out in. We have some of our, I think everybody's in more like that first position kind of vibe. He's crossed over, that's fine. Little brush on the lips, come on now. And it goes one it, and I like the one it. Naturally you want to transition on it because it's a step, so using that choice to get us to a more condensed formation looks great. Then we go in, out, and then we present up with the head, and then we bring it down, and we look over to the side, and he looks front, pulls up those sleeves, and he looks at us like, what you think? And then you see some people laughing in the back. I would be too. So I enjoyed this. I thought this was really fun, and just being able to see Min Hyuk as a soloist and being able to see what kind of, just a taste of the discography on that side. I've had the privilege of looking at B2B from the Kingdom Legendary War side, a ton of variety content on top of other Patreon requests and things of the like. So I've had a lot of fun just getting to see their personalities, and then also seeing Changsub as a mentor for Universe League. It's just been really enjoyable. So you guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.